Are you the best that she can get? It turns out there's a word for that.
Gillette.
What's it called? Not Gillette.
It's the best a man can get, right?
Damn it, Dawn. You understand the thing? It's just one word. That's it. Not Gillette. You got it?
It's like, maybe. Hyperdrive?
No. Stop. Stop it. Are you the best that she can get? It turns out there's a word for that. What is that word?
Hypergamy.
Today on The Hero's Forge.
Kick it to hyperdrive.
There you go. Fair enough. You can have that.
I wanted to sing it.
You can have that. It's fine. Okay, cool. So, hypergamy is a woman's natural or genetic preference for a higher status male, or at least higher than herself and higher than the men in her general periphery. It is a selected for survival mechanism that has existed and evolved over a period of time throughout our society. And the common wisdom, the way that it is said typically, is that they mate and date up and across social hierarchies. Does that all pretty much make sense?
Yeah, it just seems like a natural extension of what we were talking about before. Like how women's brains are wired biologically. Again, can't fight your biology. But when it's applied to a feminized social order, that's where things go wrong.
You think they go left that way?
Wrong. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, like, what do you mean?
You know, it's one thing to be able to, we have the, like, I talk about all the time, I have the security gene. Mm-hmm. Most of my women friends, especially the married ones with kids, the more you put onto that, the more layers that you add, wife and mother and all of these things, the more apt to go off it is.
Okay, so you mean the additional layers of roles and responsibilities on a woman, the more apt it is for a woman's security gland to throb.
The more sensitive or the more like aware of the circumstances it gets, like, and it's apt to go off for certain whatever reasons.
Okay.
It's biological, which is, it's fine. But when you apply it to this kind of feminized society, the rules for thee, but not for me.
Sure, you end up with a lot of double standards.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is why when we listen to the source material, I'm sorry, but there's a bunch of I could feel my eyes rolling all the way back in my head and just going.
About what?
Ben Affleck with a cigarette, just like, you guys.
Well, because it's spitting facts about these things.
Awful. It's just like, this is so icky. It just points out like the seediest and like the darkest parts of like
female nature.
Yeah.
Well, sure. But I mean, like, these are the kind of things that don't get openly discussed in society because we would rather nice over them and just assume that none of it exists and say, never mind what's behind this curtain. Just go ahead and pay attention to the surface level stuff that I'm providing to you. Don't worry about the subtext.
Yeah, and that's just like female social order hierarchies, like in groups. The whole like Mean Girls thing.
Okay.
There's just like, Katie, please tell him that his hair looks sexy, push back. Where she really wants to rip her throat out.
Yeah, and something to concern oneself with is with hypergamy, things are differently focused on depending on what stage of life the woman's at. So if the woman is in her prime, she's going to look more towards behavioral traits of a guy in terms of short-term mating, whereas when she is a little bit past her prime, past the wall, she's really more interested in substantive traits, like whether he has character, whether he is financially stable. The things that are like good guy traits are put more attention to, but they want both on both sides of the equation. It's just a matter of what is prioritized because of what somebody or what the woman can afford with what she's got available to her.
Yeah.
It's very different depending on where she is in life.
And that calls back to previous conversations that we've had that like the way that like this like manhunting is ordered is completely backwards.
What do you mean when you say manhunting in this context?
Well, like you're talking about when they're in their like 20s and they just want to have a good time, go like, find somebody hot and whatever.
Sure.
You're hot, I'm hot, let's get it popping.
Okay.
That kind of thing. Whereas then when all of that, the means to attract those kind of people is out, then they're like, oh no, I gotta start working on the other part. Or it's like, oh no, my biological clock is ticking. I have to find good dad energy or whatever. And in this kind of more fast and loose culture, chances are you get it popping with you're hot, I'm hot, let's get it popping kind of way. You do that, you lay down in bed enough times, sometimes you get presents.
Sure.
So there's already, a couple of kids hanging off there. And so she not only has to find the mate to like settle down with, she actually has to find Captain Save-A-Ho. Don't be Captain Save-A-Ho.
Don't do it, gentlemen.
So it's just like, it's just so backwards.
Mm-hmm.
This is not how it essentially should be.
Okay.
/ is really supposed to be, because you should be spending your youth and your beauty attracting the best possible mate to do the later thing with. And then you realize that too late, and then you have no currency, for lack of a better term, to work with.
Sure. And the thing is, a lot of times it's very difficult to go ahead and make a reasonable, rational judgment of both sets of characteristics in the moment, because a lot of times it's a hormonally driven set of decisions that are being made,
Right.
where it's just background processes that are driven by emotion and hormones rather than actually thinking through the consequences of your actions.
Have you heard those things where they literally talk about when women are kind of in their, well, I want to just go have fun in my youth right now, so they're on like the pill and stuff like that, so they're like on this like layer of hormones, and literally the people that they get with while on birth control, if they get off of it and they try to get pregnant, then they act completely different because this person is now a completely different man to her.
Yes. Okay. So this is interesting, right? Because there's two sides to that, right?
Yeah.
It's when the woman is off of hormonal birth control, not only does she behave differently, she receives the actions and behaviors of the man that she chose while she was on hormonal birth control. She perceives them completely differently. And then you'll see even further, sometimes in those cases, you'll see elements of disgust towards the man that she picked while she was on birth control when she is ovulating and when she is most likely to get pregnant. She is most disgusted with that man, which is the craziest thing.
It is.
Because she didn't pick somebody that she was actually attracted to viscerally. And so he bears consequences for those things, whether or not he was aware of the process throughout the way.
Yeah.
And so for dudes, if she's on the pill, be careful, right? Because like, yes, it's a good thing that there's protection involved in all of that, but there are consequences that can come about when there's hormones being introduced into somebody's system. And what happens when you take that out of the system? How is that going to change the balance of everything? Does she actually want you for you? Does she actually want you for the things that you provide? Or does she see that you're hot in addition to all those things? Because if not, then you're going to have a bad time.
Through the lens of synthetic hormones.
What?
Through the lens of synthetic hormones.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. It's already like complicated enough that we function differently in different parts of the ovulatory cycle. But then you layer it on top of infusing with different like hormones and stuff like that, like to artificially like enhance that, to regulate whatever.
Okay.
Especially, honestly, I really wouldn't know. Because I've never had like an actual normal cycle ever. So
Sure.
like I can't relate, but I know being on hormones and stuff like that. But also I don't personally view our like dynamic through any weird like lenses where it's like dad and you're a person and like
Well, okay, but the thing is, like, you didn't have to make a compromise between
No.
the things that you wanted to bang and the things that you wanted to be with, right? So, like, your circumstance is different from, I would say, most women.
Yeah.
Right? Where you have no problems jumping into bed with me. We have a great time.
I guess I'm that dastardly 1%, I guess, as far as this is concerned.
Well, I mean, you also made your bets early in life, right? And you get to enjoy the benefits of that. Is you caught me when you were at your best, and I had potential, but I didn't actually have things to show for it yet.
No.
Which is fine. Like that is a bet, and we talked about that in the
Yeah.
past, where you bet on a dark horse.
But also, like, I didn't go, I won't settle.
Well, right,
I was
because it
like-
wasn't a matter of settling.
80%. I'm good with this. Like, and I, without, whether or not, like, I actually logically articulated that or whatever with myself or with together, I don't know. But don't remember. It was a while ago.
Sure, and then like a lot of the 20% where you weren't like in it, you found some surprises that were pleasant surprises in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. It's like one of the ideal cases.
Yeah.
So that's just the benefit of placing your bets early and knowing what you want early enough in life, which you knew that you wanted to be a wife and mother.
Yep.
And like early on in the process when we were dating, you were kind of concerned about bringing that up. And when I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want, you're like,
like,
oh my
yes.
gosh. Oh, sweet. Then
Yeah,
I
it
can
was
go ahead and just
amazing.
be super upfront with what I want. And this is going to be good for both of us. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
It really ended up aligning very well.
So we just go ahead and put things out on the table, and it's easier for us to have the things that we want when we're upfront with each other about things, because we don't need to have subtext to get in on what we want, because I want the best for you and you want to support me, and it works out well that way. But it's also the case that like over the length of our relationship, you got to be more and more satisfied in terms of your hypergamous goals, right?
Yeah.
Which means that today you feel more and more that I am the best option that you can get. And there are consequences that come with that. And in your case, it is very positive consequences.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have your radar scanning around because you know you've got the best you're going to get. And that's a wonderful thing.
And it's really funny because, like, you know, we could just go, you know, we'd just be sitting at dinner on date night and be like, oh, she's cute. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about on that one?
Absolutely. And you're not threatened by it.
No.
Because you know your place and we're good with this.
No, I'm usually the one to be like,
Yeah.
got out.
Right? Hey, man, you're usually a good wingman, and I appreciate that. And the thing is, like, this concept of relational equity is the next thing to bring up. And I think that's more of a thing for men towards women than it is for women towards men.
Well, it's more of a consideration for men because they are the ones that have to filter out the ones that are like, I am the table.
Sure, but
Because
like,
they bring the most of the substantial things to the relationship.
okay, that's not quite what I'm getting at. So let me
Okay.
go ahead and be more clear. So the idea of relational equity is like a man's logical response to how the trade between men and women should go. It's, I've worked so hard, I've provided you all this stuff, so I should be given some kind of grace in times where things aren't so good,
Okay.
is a logical thing that men typically bring to a relationship, because in a lot of ways, men extend that to women. I'll give you a
Yes.
great example. We've been married for 21 years. We've been together for 26 years. We've established in podcasts past that there is a noticeable gap when we look at one another, right, in terms of physicality. However, I extend you grace by this thing called relationship goggles,
Right.
right? It is a thing that builds over time, and I love you and I care for you, so I'm willing to go ahead and overlook certain things for a certain period of time so that we can have a harmonious life together, right? And so while I recognize I have the burden of performance and it does not ever go away, I also don't expect for you to go ahead and also perform at the same level over the length of the relationship, because that's not what I'm expecting from you. Instead, I have the relationship goggles for you so that you have less worry about being swapped out for a younger model, which is an existential dread that a lot of women have in our society.
Yeah, especially in these more like, at least in name 50-50 kind of egalitarian relationships.
Sure,
where
and that's
it
not the
is-
nature of our relationship at all.
No, and that's part of the beauty of that. It's like if you are running on an egalitarian, like albeit for really transactional kind of relationship, then yeah, you have to again negotiate those ebbs and flows so that it all comes out even, as my grandfather used to say.
Sure.
He was talking about food.
Right. And in the case of our relationship, rather than being a transactional relationship, I view it as a transformational relationship because we have goals that we are seeking to achieve together. And the relationship is a vehicle through which to achieve these ends. For example, well-raised children, impact in the society around us. Those are things that we seek to do to transform the world around us for the better. And while people may disagree with the means and methods by which we do these things, we know why we do what we do, and that's what matters to us.
That is the thing. It's like we have already gone over this at length in the beginning of our relationship, like to just determine, like the moral compass that guides us and the general direction we're going and our general roles and the roles of, by extension, our children. So in our household as a whole.
Sure.
So that when those rough and transitional seasons come about, like there's no ambiguity or like we have to rethink this, we have to like renegotiate this. Like it's just okay, instantly I go into like neutral mode, like how do I assist? What do you need from me?
Sure.
Like how are we doing this? And it's more like you give me the directives, like so that we don't have to sit there and go, well, wait, I'm still doing this whole thing over here. You have to wait for me. It's like, no, I don't.
No, because I call the shots, right?
Exactly.
And the thing is, like, while people will get offended about that, this is what works for our family.
You don't pay my bills.
Yeah. You don't pay her bills. I pay her bills. And the thing is, like, it works really well for us. And the thing is, I would much rather you be employed by me than to be employed by some other man. Like, at the top of every other company out there, for the most part, it's ruled by men. So these women that want to go ahead and be submissive to somebody that's not their husband, they're going to be submissive to their boss and obey everything that they're told at the workplace, but they don't want to go ahead and give that same level of respect and deference to their man. It is crazy to me.
I think it's one of those things where everybody focuses on just the relationship and not any of the other dynamics that go into it. If she works outside the home, what she does and all of that stuff. And it is an actual present thing, but it's very, very in the background. And but it has an influence whether or not people are going to acknowledge it, like consciously acknowledge it.
Sure. And I'm going to put out there that I understand that this is a very exceptional circumstance where we have built something that very few people have, and that we have an architecture that we have spent most of our lives building towards so that we can enjoy this. Whereas I recognize that most people in our society that are in a family doing the two-income household kind of thing, where it may not be a 50-50, but more often it's like a 60-40 or a 70-30 kind of thing, there are serious considerations that should be made that really are not being made and taken for granted. It's like, oh, it is an assumption that we're going to go ahead and do the two-income household, that it is an assumption that we're going to take one lavish vacation a year. It is an assumption that we're going to get brand new cars every 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? And those decisions and assumptions have costs. Now, we were talking about relational equity from the man's perspective, because I think that for the most part, men have an inherent sense of using logic and reason to rationalize their behavior in relationship. Whereas I think that on the women's side, this circumstance is very rare. And why we're talking about hypergamy in the first place. Because when there is doubt in terms of whether or not the woman has the best that she's going to get, it opens the door to all kinds of other problems. So it's incumbent on men to be the best option that she can have so that you have fewer and fewer instances of this problem or this set of problems coming up. Because honestly, hypergamy will come first for women because it's just this background process that's going on in the back of their mind. And the fact that she will make a decision to go sleep with the jerk and keep you around as a friend is the example and the evidence of how little relational equity means to most women. The fact that she's going to go ahead and go with the bad boy and then come and treat you like a friend afterwards, or she's going to go out to dinner with you but order a second helping, take it as a doggy bag, and then go to the guy that she's actually going to go ahead and take to bed and feed him for dessert. Right.
Oh my goodness.
So we talked about relational equity a little bit, about how it's typically like a male-centric rationalization for, hey, I've done so much, so I should deserve some kind of grace. Whereas that is an unrealistic expectation, because men ought to understand that they will always have the burden of performance. Because it's like Chris Rock had a really funny joke where he was talking about how the only things that are loved unconditionally are women, children, and dogs, right? Because for men, we're only loved for what we do. And here's the thing is, if I'm being really honest about it, I care substantially less about whether or not you love me, but I care substantially more about whether you respect me. Because respect is the foundation for love from a female. And that's just what it is. And like, people can go ahead and like scream in the comments about that. I don't care. It's just one of those deals where respect comes first, love comes afterwards. Because the woman will not perform all the wonderful things that a guy would want if she doesn't respect him.
Sure. And that's how those little, even all the love in the world, those little cracks will find their way to crumble the entire foundation. This whole thing's coming down.
And if you have enough cracks, that's where the rest of this stuff that we're going to be talking about starts creeping in.
Yeah. Also, if this, talking about the best one can get.
Sure.
If the gap, I think when you pair the whole like 50-50 kind of dynamic with the gap being pretty close between, this one is like, like the 10 scale, the whole like hierarchy thing.
Oh, where they're about even?
The whole like HOMAth thing.
Sure.
Yeah. If the gap is pretty close and then they want to do this whole like, we're going to be partners together, 50-50 kind of dynamic in a relationship, there's usually, I've seen quite a few times where she will, in this search for novelty, things get boring. So then almost sometimes if women real petty, they'll go pick fights just to shake stuff up, which is a whole nother thing, but okay. But they will start to get bored and start to kind of chase for equality.
Sure.
And then once they get it, they're like, I just need to move on. Somebody else.
Right, because once you get even,
and then I was like,
you'll realize that
again,
or the woman will realize that she is settled. And once she feels that she is settled and she thinks that she can do better, that's normally when all this other stuff starts cropping up, right? Okay. We're going to get into some statements. I'm going to go ahead and read a statement, and you're going to go ahead and give me a response.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Now, the TikTok people won't hear this because they're going to see clips only. So I'm going to go ahead and do this as a preface for everybody on YouTube. I'm going to preface this with one short phrase. Not all women are like this. I understand that this is the case. It is most likely to be the case when a woman feels that she has settled, or in the process of a relationship, she sees things as being too even, that the possibility of these things will start creeping up.
Like those times in the cycle where his very existence annoys her.
Right.
He's just literally existing, and she's like, he's grinding his teeth. I can hear him breathing weird.
Or he's trying to relax. Quick, put him to work.
Right.
Right? All of those kind of dynamics come when there is no polarity. when the guy is not the best that she can get, this stuff is much more prone to happen. And so, once again, I'll encourage you men, be the best you can be and be the best that she can get. Life is so much better for you this way, I assure you. It's hard, it sucks, it takes a lot of work, but it is well worth it in the end. Mm-hmm. All right. Hypergamy doesn't care. Are you ready for this?
I remember these.
Great.
Oh boy.
Hypergamy doesn't care how great a father you are to your kids.
Yeah, that's something women tell themselves just to psych themselves up to sleep with you.
If there's this imbalance.
Yes. These are the things that I've just like, when I just run into these kind of things, it was just like, oh my goodness.
And I would say, if they even are your kids, right?
We talked about that before.
We have talked about that before, right? If you're the guy that she settled for after sleeping with Chad, then like you might have all these problems. Or even if she got with you and she felt like she settled and all some of these other things happened.
Paternity tests are a thing.
Paternity tests are a thing. All right. Hypergamy doesn't care how you rearranged your college majors and career choice in life to better accommodate her.
If you do that, she will probably almost always leave you. Because again, back to the whole like captain and the passenger thing, that's a mutiny right there.
Well, that and I would say that you were following instead of leading, right?
She's
leading.
Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah, she does.
I'm the captain now.
She does the "I'm the captain now" thing.
Stick 'em up. This is a mutiny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
it's a mutiny.
It is a mutiny, right? And not only that, she doesn't have enough respect for your lead that she's going to be willing to get on your program, and that's an indication that maybe you need to level up some more, or it ain't the right relationship for you.
Yeah. That's why I try so much in real life when we see like these little doe-eyed, like newly engaged people, newlyweds and stuff, even just newly dating, but they've been together a while. It's like, I said, if she doesn't believe in your dreams, if you don't believe in his dreams, that's it. I'm sorry. This is going to be a pretty short-lived thing because then you are going to come in conflict with one another, like in a fundamental way.
Yeah.
As far as what direction y'all going in.
And then, dudes, if you don't have a lifestyle that is attractive for someone to move into, you're going to have these problems. And that's just what it is. Hypergamy doesn't care how supportive you've always been of her decisions or how you identify as a male feminist.
So you're her girlfriend? So if you're lucky, she'll invite you on her next girls' trip, right? Yeah. You still get to pay for everything, though.
You get to pay for everything.
You're welcome. Please don't do this.
Yeah. That and you get to be the emotional tampon. And not stick anything else in there. Such is life.
The hotel rooms, like you could sit in the chair.
Oh, yeah. You get to go ahead and be in the hotel room, but you're going to be in the chair and somebody else is going to be in the bed. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll just go ahead and take the man's man card and just move on. Don't do this, guys. Like, a male feminist, like, look, if you are using this as a means to get some action, there are better things you can do in your life. They take more effort. They're harder to achieve, but you'll get better results over the long term. And
that's where those like average people, they say I'm a male feminist. That's that whole thing where you do just enough good stuff to like tie her down. And then you spend the rest of your life doing just enough nice stuff so she won't be mad at you.
Well, it's kind of like instead of being a captain, you're like a ferry boat captain. And you're driving the ship, but she says where you're going.
She gets off whenever she wants to. She gets off whenever she wants to.
Whether or not it's with you. Right?
This is a warning. I am saying some things.
Yeah, well, they don't care.
I still stand by it.
The clips will go ahead and have no
care.
context. It's fine. We understand that people are going to be raging in the comment section.
This is me unfiltered.
Excellent. All right, next. Hypergamy doesn't care about the sincerity of your religious convictions or aspirations of high purpose.
I think your aspirations and morals do not go higher than her ankles.
Yeah, I heard that you can tell if a woman likes you by the positioning of her ankles. It's helpful if they're over your shoulders. I would say that
It's a respect thing.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And she doesn't really care if you take her to church if you're not actually taking her to church.
Y'all need Jesus.
And other things. Okay. Hypergamy doesn't care about those words you said at your wedding.
Yeah. She's very quick to forget about those.
Yeah.
But she will remember every single zero that you were required to pay for her ring, her dress, flowers, venue, destination honeymoon, the whole line items, all of them.
So things that stick out like a sore thumb to me in the traditional wedding vows that are really like trampled over in today's society is for richer or for poorer.
For better or worse.
Right, and in sickness and in health. Now, the richer or poorer, that reminds me of the phenomenon where in a 50-50 relationship, the most prolific time for women to file for divorces are when the woman gets a promotion from the 50-50 position and the man is now making less than her. All of a sudden, for richer or for poorer, just falls apart. And that's because the balance has been thrown off.
And that's where you really see that whole, well, she's submitting to somebody else in the corporate world. Somewhere in the corporate, ladder. But then she's not going to give a whiff about you.
Right, but the fundamental problem there is that the guy's in a 50-50 relationship to begin with, right? He is not on his grind to offer something that is appealing enough to be submitted to.
You set the precedent already.
That's why 50-50 relationships are incredibly dangerous for both men and women, right? Because on the men's side, like they can get dragged in the court system for divorce and all of this as soon as there's an imbalance. And then on the women's side, like if you go ahead and feel like when you chose him, he was the best you can get, and it turns out that things changed, now you're operating from a significantly different spot, especially if you have kids with that man.
Yeah.
Because then you think you can do better, you leave the relationship, you go back out on the streets, or you monkey branch or whatever, and now you're operating from a completely different frame that is disadvantageous to most women. So on both sides of it, it's an L.
Yeah.
Hypergamy doesn't care about how you funded her going back to college to find a more rewarding career.
Yeah, those little graduation speeches, it's all about her hard work and her sacrifice. And then later on, it's the awesome new shoes or purse, Louis Vuitton purse, that she bought with her money.
Right. This goes back to the idea of her money is her money and his money is their money, right? And
forget girl math. That's like girl accounting.
It's a whole accounting system.
It's a whole accounting system, yeah.
Right. Okay. And that also goes ahead and goes back to alluding to the whole like, hey, when she gets promoted and he's like just staying where he's at, it's a dangerous situation for both of them for different reasons.
Yeah.
Hypergamy doesn't care about how great a guy you are for adopting the children she had with other men.
It makes me think of going back to the one that you want to be the dad, but then the one that you want to be...
The one you want to call daddy instead?
The one you want to book talk with.
Sure. When they're the different people.
Yeah, so like she's with you, but she's still thinking about all the fun she had making those kids with... Oh, wait. He's still here. Never mind.
He's still in the picture in this
Oh, wait,
case.
you're still here. I forgot.
Yeah, he's the sneaky
Whoops.
link instead, right?
I mean, you. It's always... No.
Right? And then there's always going to be scars from that too.
Yeah.
Right? Because especially if like he left her for someone else and she still pines for him, there's going to be scars there. Because while y'all are doing the thing, she may be thinking about that guy. Probably she is thinking about that other guy. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a rough deal. And the bottom line is you're a sucker for saving her in the first place.
Captain Sabo.
Captain Sabaho. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say there's exceptional circumstances for all of this stuff, because I can think of a bunch of guys that married a single mom who, like, the guy died, or, like, the girl was abandoned, and she otherwise is a great woman. Totally get that. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. Most of the society is not those exceptions, which is why we go ahead and say it the way that we say it. Let's see here. Hypergamy doesn't care about your divine and forgiving nature and excusing her youthful indiscretions.
Yeah. you have to overlook all of those kind of things. But the minute that you are at a place together and then you start looking at, like the waitress that walks by and it's like, why are you looking at her? I was like, shame on you. You're such a jerk. Like, it's like, I barely looked in that direction. I don't know. It's like, you were looking at her for exactly 1.87 seconds.
Right. Whereas
it's like, what?
Whereas if she knew you were the best that she could get, she wouldn't bring it up at all. It'd be like, yeah, okay, she looks cute, but she's perfectly content in knowing that she has her proper place, right?
I love it. I'm like, hey, look at that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good dynamic. And the thing is, like, there's no threat involved.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Oh, I know that I've talked to friends in the past where I'm like, yeah, look at the caboose on that one. And they're like, you really do that? It's like, yeah, why not? We appreciate beauty wherever we can find it.
Hypergamy doesn't care about your magnanimity in assuming responsibility for her student loans and credit card debt after you're married.
What did I just say about girl accounting? This is girl accounting 101. That leads to the aforementioned situation.
Yeah. So once you take it on, it becomes your problem and not hers. Because once again, it goes back to the whole, like, his money is our money and her money is her money kind of thing.
Yep. Girl accounting 101.
Yeah. So be really careful when you're going ahead and like looking at each other in terms of marriage prospects. If she's not financially stable, like, have a plan for that and like go into it with your eyes wide open about like what the expectations are.
Again, the whole thing where it's like, oh, it's not as romantic. You just gotta fall for it. No, you need to talk about nitty gritty stuff, especially in this culture. You're asking for a world of hurt. Please don't.
Please don't do this.
I love you too much. Please don't do this.
Hypergamy doesn't care about how well you do your part of the household chores.
Chore play.
Chore play. Don't do it, guys.
What did we just say about that?
Yeah. Don't do it. If you're getting all this hate about the way that you are doing the dishes when you were volunteering to do the dishes, she is welcome to do them, right? Because it's not about whether or not you're actually doing it. It's about control at that point. And if she is whining and complaining to you about things that are about control, she sees that you're on the same level or she sees you as inferior to her, which is why she is making a big deal of these things. Which is why I say that it's better to be the superior man where it's easy for her to fall under your authority.
When you like take a thing or two, like overseeing kids getting stuff picked up and whatever, it's like, I'm not going to even like walk by because I don't care how it gets done, that I wouldn't do it. I don't care. I'm just grateful that I get to go actually have a 20-minute shower like by myself, like in peace, so that I can like reframe my brain and then banish them all to their rooms to go to bed. And we get to have our time together. It's fun.
Nice.
And I'm very grateful.
Hypergamy doesn't care whether the children are biologically yours or not.
That's like girl accounting 102.
Okay, what do you mean in this case?
So you played Captain Save-O. But, when kids do things and then it's like, well, you have to go discipline your child. But then when they do all the good things and whatever, that's my child. Look, I'm so proud of my child I raised. It's like, ma'am, excuse me. It's just an extension of this. What's his is ours, and what's mine is mine.
Sure. And then, so even going and challenging that narrative of raising the child, it's like, are you actually raising the child, though? Or is the child being sent to the public school system, or is the child being sent to daycare so that you can do your HR job or whatever? Are you really raising the kids? Or are they spending more time in an institution separate from you and learning your culture and your lifestyle and your customs?
I admire, like, dual income households. Like, if you are actually about the business of, like, raising a family, raising quality children, it's possible. Of course it is. But it is so difficult. Like,
it takes more work, right?
I guess I'm lazy. I can't do that whole thing. Like,
well, you're not expected to do that at all, right? Because like we went into this knowing that you were going to be at home with the kids and I was going to be out slaying dragons and bringing home treasure.
Like I was much happier not taking a vacation every year. Like the only time we actually, traveled was to go be with our family for Christmas. That was
our vacation.
It was our vacation. It wasn't really a vacation, but it's important. It was still being about the business of raising our family with a good, solid set of roots and all of that, and traditions, and, exposing them to, our family of origin culture, stuff like that. And, doing what we could with less than a new phone every couple of years, or we just run these things in the ground, never having owned a new car.
Yeah, like we don't buy new cars.
Nope.
That's just ridiculous. Like they're depreciating assets. That's ridiculous. I'd much rather go ahead and pay cash on something that's going down in value rather than taking a loan on it. So then you're paying interest on something that's going down in value. To me, that's crazy. I understand that people they need that for their first few cars, but they have a choice in what cars they buy.
Mm-hmm. But I was much happier in the long run. Of course, you see everybody with like a new this and a new that, and I'm like, that's cool. That's nice. But I'm like, you know what? No, we're doing a thing here. And again, it's because I'm already committed to the direction you're taking us, and I'm on board for that. It's not like, oh, well, you're doing this and I just have to. No, I am fully about it. Like, I know what our goals are. And I'd rather be committed to that and committed to us than go have all the things. But then ultimately you're like burning the candle at both ends, honestly.
Yeah, people get burnt out super easily doing that, like trying to keep up with the Joneses, as if people's life on social media is a reflection of what their actual day-to-day life is, as opposed to seeing it for what it is as window dressing and understanding that there is more beneath the surface. But I think that our society is content to look at the surface level of things. If you go ahead and look at any of our older clips about stuff where we're entertaining hypotheticals, or we are entertaining second or third level analysis of something that has a solid meaning, if you look at it on its surface level, people just completely lose the plot because they don't understand that we're like digging deeper into a circumstance rather than looking at just the surface level.
Especially with all of the anecdotal like bunny trails you can go follow.
Oh, absolutely. So hypergamy doesn't care if she was drunk, he was cute, and one thing led to another.
Consider with me, if you will. If you take the S in she and you put it over in front of he, making the pronouns in reverse.
So let me go ahead and read that out with the pronouns reversed. He was drunk, she was cute, and one thing led to another.
How do we feel about that one?
It was a huge double standard because, like, men are lambasted for this.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what the circumstance is.
You're a jerk, you're a dog.
Whereas when women cheat, we have all of these social conventions that go and support her in that decision. Oh, he must have been doing something. He must have been in the wrong. He must have done things so that she would make that choice. Whereas men aren't afforded that same kind of consideration. It's just always like, oh, he's a bastard for doing that, straight up.
Whereas, like, she was like, he doesn't love me anymore, and I don't get enough attention from him. And
no, the reality is she doesn't respect him.
Then exit stage left. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and I would say that, like, the idea of a girls' night or girls' trips outside of, like, really, really specific boundaries is an on-ramp to set sail for fail. Mm-hmm. Like, you are just inviting all of these negative circumstances into your life by going ahead and letting that be a thing. Because most of the time, it's a bunch of single women or a bunch of divorced women that are roping people in to do these heinous things together.
Nobody does peer pressure better than 12-year-old boys and 40-year-old women.
40-year-old women and 12-year-old boys. Yeah, that's about right.
You can quote me on that.
Sure.
When the shoe's on the other foot, it's just like, cue the torches and pitchforks. Knives out for these men are just like, oh, you're such a dumb. But she's just, her indiscretions.
Yeah, they're treated completely differently, right? Regardless of the context of what's going on in the relationship. And then here's the final one. Hypergamy doesn't care if you never saw it coming.
Yeah, it doesn't care. She doesn't care because she wins either way.
Yeah.
Either you guys continue on no matter what she does, and her lifestyle and you keep funding her anyway. Or y'all break up and guess what? She gets half and she can just move on to the next, guy.
Right. Should just monkey branch to the next one.
She'll go to the next one and then we find ourselves back at the top of the list.
Oh, just she doesn't care how great a father you are.
We'll repeat again. We'll start all over. So it comes full circle.
I would say that women that are going to operate in this fashion would prefer it to be that he never sees it coming.
Of course.
It is to her advantage for it to be a surprise.
That's why this is dangerous to even talk about it.
Oh, yeah, because we're just like letting the secrets out of the bag.
This is one big episode of say the weird thing.
Right. You wouldn't want to spoil the surprise now. That would be crazy talk. So once again, not all women are like this. Got it. The way that you can insulate yourself from any of this stuff is by being the best guy she could get. That's the reality of it. And if she feels like she can do better or she feels like she settled for you, this stuff is much more likely to happen. And it's on you to be that guy. Make your choices wisely. Do you have any messages for the women?
Get while the getting's good. Rather than just be like, I need to live. Don't spoil your youth. Find somebody now so that you can enjoy them longer. When we met and stuff, I still wish we had actually gotten married sooner.
Okay.
Maybe had kids a couple of years sooner.
Sure.
Like, there's still those kind of things. It is what it is, and I'm grateful for everything. I love that essentially I get to live the dream that I was, dreamed about when I was, a teenager, even like 12. But if you're just sitting there going, well, then I have to go and do this and like go travel a little bit before I get like nailed, but pinned down, like with this whole like house and kids and blah, 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 then you're going to miss it. You're going to miss the best opportunities to meet the best people. Because again, we don't need to do the one thing. But, the best possible partner to like go through it with. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to be tough. Like things that we've been through are really, really hard. And I would be so lost if I went through it by myself. God forbid, like even just thinking about it, like going by myself with kids, like, no. But it's been an amazing experience, and I know that even just, 20 years more and we're going to have, start having like grandkids and stuff like that. It's going to be amazing because I'm looking very much forward to that family reunion, and that big family picture. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Just to go ahead and review, we talked about hypergamy. It's the idea that the woman wants to get the best that she can get, is the most common way to put it, but that they want typically a higher status male. They want to date up and across social hierarchies. Generally speaking, they want to mate and date up is the bottom line. And that relational equity is really a logical process that men use to look at a relationship that is not reciprocated, because at its bottom line foundation, hypergamy wins over relational equity. And the only proof you need is to see that all this crap in our society happens when there is an imbalance, that the woman perceives the other as being someone for whom she's settled, or that she thinks she's better than, because all the cracks in the relationship start opening up. Lack of respect leads to all kinds of problems in the relationship. Yep. We talked about how hypergamy doesn't care about all these circumstances that dudes think, oh, I did all these things for you. I do this, I do that. Does not give a crap if you're not doing the important things. Being the best option she can be. Being somebody whose authority and leadership she can put herself beneath. Somebody that she feels excited to put her ankles on her shoulders, right? All of these things need to be the case for you to have insulation from all the worries that have to do with hypergamy. Because if you are the best that she can get, she doesn't have to worry about everything, or whether she's like missing out on something in life, because if she has it, she doesn't have to worry about it. And whereas with us guys, like, we get to benefit from the idea that we are much more often logical processors of how things happen in a relationship. And we get social conventions like relationship goggles to help us through a lot of things where, like, we understand that a lot of women are just viscerally afraid that they'll get traded out for a younger model. Well, if she's doing her part, most of the time, dudes are not looking to change things. And that's just the bottom line. It's, we are better together than we are apart. And if that is the situation in your relationship, that is what makes for good, solid, strong, happy relationships for the long term.
Otherwise, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why would you do this to yourself?
Like, we both engage in the relationship because we are materially better off in so many ways than we would be apart from one another.
And we don't have to worry about, oh, well, I have it better, you know, and I'm putting in more. Doesn't matter. Because this is now 50-50.
It's not 50-50. And here's the thing, is I do my part and you do yours, and we are both made better because of it.
Yep.
And that's about it on Hypergamy. Once again, thank you to Rollo Tomasi for writing the Rational Male. I'll go ahead and link his YouTube channel, The Rational Male, on YouTube down below. You can feel free to pick up the book on Amazon or on Audible. So thanks so much for him in putting things together, this praxeology of the red pill. Though we don't agree with everything, you know, red pill related, like, we understand that it's a cafeteria of goods, that we can take the things that make sense and implement it in our life and leave the things that don't make sense from our worldview. And that's okay.
Because it takes all kinds.
It takes all kinds, it turns out. And nobody's a monolith. So nobody should be expected to just be this one, like, plastic thing that is unchanging. So thanks for joining in. If you want to go ahead and take a look at the rest of the podcast, it is linked right here in this section. If this is the first time you're seeing us, you might want to subscribe right over here. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day.